Good afternoon, Paul Sloman, partner PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP. Thank you for joining us today at the National Manufacturing Debate here at Cranfield. I'd just like to start off actually by asking you the same question that you posed in your talk this morning, and that is quite simply, does the UK have the capability to sustain reshoring?
I think it's a more complex question, yes or no. I think that in some industries, absolutely. I think that we've seen some reshoring taking place, but I think it's inevitable that some will never reshore and some shouldn't reshore. Yet there are other industries or other trends that are taking place that can support reshoring, such as digitisation, the industrial digitisation age. Customer-focused manufacturing, where we need shorter lead times, more responsive manufacturing. Those are the sectors that take advantage of those types of trends will be the ones that we would see reshoring. I also believe that as part of reshoring, what we're looking for, we need to make sure that the right jobs come back to the UK. So major research and development still needs to remain here. We've seen many companies revert back to their research and development coming back to the UK, and I think that could continue to be a trend. There could be some surprises along the way as well. Textiles in the UK has pretty much been wiped out, or was wiped out, and I think moving forwards, due to higher levels of automation, we may see some of that returning, again supported by the customer-focused proposition.
And of those industries that you believe there is a case for reshoring, what are the major factors that you're seeing from your experience that are actually holding them back from actually carrying out their reshoring plans at the moment? Is it simply a case of labour costs, or what are we looking at?
I think it's certainly more complicated than that. I think that originally companies did offshore much of their production due to mainly labour costs, but also other factors. And I think moving forwards, what we actually are seeing is that there's a wider range of levers or filters that sort of need to be taken into consideration when reshoring. I think companies on the whole are getting more sophisticated at the way they look at these various levers through total cost of ownership models, and I think that will continue.
And I mean, you're talking briefly about reshoring versus offshoring, and the major changes that we're starting to see in these areas. Are the reasons we pursued years ago for offshoring, are they still relevant?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest, the most obvious one is cheaper labour. Certainly the gap is closing. If we take an economy like China, we predict that wages could increase by sort of 12% CAGR over the coming years. So the gap is closing. We're still not there, and certainly from a productivity point of view, the UK's still got some way to go. I think in G7 countries, I think we're sort of second but last, with only Japan behind us. But certainly, levers like reduced transportation costs, working capital impact, being closer to the customer, are all factors that can help us moving forwards.
Paul Sloman, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Lovely to meet you.
You too.